Okay, it is the end of March 2020, and I wanted to just do a quick walkthrough to give an update. It's been a while. Here's our papaya tree. It just keeps cranking them out. Our family is not huge papaya eaters, so we've actually been selling these. Probably made about $20 so far off of the fruit of this tree. So really cool. Carambola starfruit tree gave us a couple dozen starfruit this last year, so now it's starting to put on some new growth here after winter. Haven't seen any flowers on it yet, but it should be flowering here soon. This is the little herb garden section up by the front door. Had some mustard greens reseed here, taking up a lot of the space. I tried to save a bunch of mustard seed here in the little porch, and a lot of the seed kicked over, and I just kind of letting them go. When we run low on chicken food or whatever, I just come out and get a bunch of leaves and feed them to the chickens. And here before, got a couple little parsleys planted. Got some chives, one of my favorites. The tree is a Japodicaba, and I may move him and put him out in the garden somewhere to give it a little more space. It's doing just fine here, but I think 5 or 6 years down the road it's going to be a little too big for this space, so I'll probably move it now while it's still young. Rosemary's doing the best here, just loves it in this spot. I do have some Egyptian walking onions here, and I don't know when they're gonna make the little seed heads and start repropagating themselves, because I really want to get a bigger patch of this established. So this is something kind of new that I've tried. It's the pink celery. Kind of got a really late start on it, so I don't know if we're going to be able to get to eat any of that. Should have planted that a couple months earlier. And got some cucumbers started up along the fence. And over here is kind of my propagation area, bananas and other things I have in pots. This gets all morning sun and then afternoon shade, so it's a good spot to keep things I'm propagating. And you can see the fence is new since the last update, so I'm gonna put a video up on that, show you guys how I made this fence. I think it turned out really nice, adds a good element to the garden, functionally and aesthetically. Broccoli, they're doing really good. These are collard greens. So I'm gonna slow down on pointing out every plant because that would take forever. I'm just gonna kind of walk around and point out some highlights. This katuk is doing really good, nice and bushy. We harvest from this all the time, taking the tallest shoots and kind of cutting them back, so it's creating a really nice bushy habitat for that guy. So I'm really pleased with that. This is kind of more of our tender plants. I had put in this temporary fencing, this netting fencing, to keep the dog out, because it was all stuff like lettuce, and that I didn't want him walking over. He doesn't really care too much about the plants and what's in here. He just kind of walks and lays wherever he pleases. So I got to be strategic with where I'm putting things. Like, he really loves to walk along the edge of the fence, so I can't really plant anything there. This whole big green patch is longevity spinach, so really awesome plant to have if you can grow it in your climate. I highly recommend doing so. You can see this fig tree is kind of popping up there out of the middle of it. And I think one of the nicest looking trees I got so far is this Barbados cherry. I've pruned it probably a good 3 to 4 times over the last calendar year, just to keep it down. If I haven't done that, this thing would be taking over and probably over 10 feet tall by now. So I keep it down vertically and thin it out pretty good in the middle so we can reach all the fruit easily. Some sunflowers. There's big guys there. There's lots of kale here along the edge. So one thing I've done is taken old logs and lined them along the edgeway here to define a path. This kind of helps me keep things confined and planted to a certain space, and it also helps like my dog and my kids to, you know, they're just going to naturally kind of walk through here instead of where I might have some like really young seedlings that they can't really see. You know, instead of walking over them, you know, they can hopefully follow the path and keep out of the planted areas. Some more broccoli, some more mustard, a couple rows of carrots here, another patch of longevity spinach here. That's next to our lemon tree. This guy already flowered and it's got some baby lemons it's putting on. And I haven't really made much progress on all the torpedo grass. I did start kind of digging into it here a little bit. So I really hope to get some time and effort put on getting rid of the torpedo grass so I can get more things planted, like this amazing Jamaican cherry tree. Some people call it the strawberry tree because the flowers look like the flower of strawberries. There's the fruit, not quite ripe, but that's about as big as they get. So it's nice to be able to kind of come out here and just pick the fruit, but it's nothing that, you know, is gonna provide a ton of food. It's just kind of neat for the kids, and it has actually a really good flavor to it. So it's a pleasure to come out here and eat off of it. But this tree is probably one of my favorite looking trees. Very nice ornamental looking tree. I pruned it back a little bit because it's gonna want to grow really tall. This is a fast grower, but I'm really happy with this tree. Banana cluster. This is a Seminole banana. Here's a Groomy Chama. This guy needs to get out from the grass. I think I've watched this enough and watched other plants enough to make a conclusion that the torpedo grass is a huge drain as far as water and nutrients go, and once the torpedo grass is in the roots and it's like around the plant, it's pretty much sucking everything up that, you know, this tree is trying to get. So anyway, I got to get this guy freed up from the torpedo grass, and I think it'll bounce back and respond positively to that. Grafted black Suriname cherry, got a few off of that, and I really love the flavor of that. The kids haven't got the taste for it yet, but I think they will eventually. Here's the immature fruit. But same thing, I need to get this guy freed up of the grass. One of our dwarf mulberry trees, this guy's in full throttle, pumping out berries. The kids just love this coming out here and picking these and eating them. Just a treat for me and everybody else. Gotta love the stained hands. Here's the sapodilla. It's looking pretty good. It's grown a lot over the last year. If you notice a theme how I prune, I always prune the leading tip out of this because I don't want one central leader going straight up and getting really tall. I want all my trees really short. So at a young age, I just hack everything right there in the middle and get it to bush out on the sides. So this guy's on schedule. He's doing really good. This is the Adamoya. This tree's done really good. It didn't put on any fruit last year. It was, I don't know, kind of struggling a little bit. But this year already, I'm starting to see some of the flowers. Right there. Right there. So I'm expecting big things from this tree already. Just looking around, I see at least a dozen flowers on it. So really excited about the Adamoya. It's a Goldfinger banana. You can see I got a small rack forming here, and you can see it's kind of way back in the throat of the stem here. It's not, usually bananas kind of curl out and they'll present themselves kind of down this way. What happened here is it got pretty stressed out. We had a really cold night one night, and that must have been when the flower was emerging, and it's a condition that happens where the fruit get kind of bunched up way down inside the stem there. So not anything wrong with it, just kind of delayed in its growth, I guess. Here's a sugar apple. So this one's leafing out. A few little flowers on this. There goes our cat. She's new to the garden. That's Evie. She loves to run around, hunt lizards, and climb the trees to get them. Say hi, Evie. A few places I've walked past, we've had some taro growing. Haven't harvested any of the roots yet, but they've been in the ground now for about a year, so I may kind of dig some out and see how those turn out. Another clump of Goldfinger banana, Kerry mango tree, this is grafted jackfruit. I just pruned this guy really heavily a few weeks ago to thin it out. It was just one big huge bush. So I like to give the trees plenty of airflow and keep them opened up. This guy is sitting at about 7 feet tall right now. And I don't know if it's going to give me fruit this year, but this is the one I'm most excited about to finally get some fruit from. and one of our peach trees. Something really exciting on this tree. I had access to a nectarine tree, so I took a few cuttings and I got a nectarine grafted onto my peach tree here. So that's where the graft joint is. And then that's where I cut off the branch of the peach tree, and this will be the nectarine that'll you know, take off and grow in its place. And I have a cocktail peach and nectarine tree. Really cool. Here's the other peach tree. This one's a little more mature, a little bigger. It's doing really well. The moringa tree, it's due to be topped off and chopped back down to a couple feet above ground. It's a very nice tree, very pretty, but you know, to get at all the branches to harvest the leaves, they're all way up there, they can't reach them, so got to cut it back down to size. This was kind of a mess. I basically just took a bunch of old expired seeds that I had and shotgunned them out into this area, so there's lots of random stuff growing. This is a daikon radish that's going to seed, but we harvested one of these and actually made a plant-based bacon out of it, which turned out really good. We got a few of these bok choys to come up. We haven't really done a good job of harvesting out here, just kind of letting it go, but we do need to get this area cleaned up and you know, use it for planting space that we're going to actually harvest from. Got a few kales out here to grow. There were some carrots that we already pulled out, so we did get some useful production out of it. Fig trees doing good. Another banana clump. Have a few things in pots that I still need to plant. This is that Everglades tomato. This just comes up all by itself whenever it wants to, anywhere it wants to. So I mean, it's nice, always having these small tomatoes around. They're really good, but a little on the small side. But anyway, like I said, I don't have to worry about taking care of them or watering them or planting them. They just come up on their own and know what to do. I just want to show you a couple more things out here. This is a Scarlet Beauty plum tree. Got some fruit to set on it, so kids are really excited about this. So I'm trying to reshape this tree. If you can see, I got string down tied to a paver, and around the string I've just fed this clear tubing through it so the string doesn't chafe on the branches. But I'm hanging all the branches over so they're horizontal. All these branches were just shooting straight up vertically, so this should hopefully give us a nice kind of weeping looking fruit tree. These horizontal branches give you a lot more fruit production than ones shooting up vertically. So the strings have been on for about a month or two now. Probably need about 6 months for them really to kind of keep that shape in the tree. And this is the other jackfruit tree I have in the yard. This is a seedling. it's doing pretty good. Walking over to our chicken pen. This is the other mulberry tree we have. It's a little bit larger, still cranking out fruit just like the other one. We picked a bunch of berries from both trees and actually made some jelly out of it. Turned out pretty good. I think next we're going to try and make a mulberry pie or cobbler kind of thing. So as you can see, this mulberry tree is not very big. It's more like a bush, and it cranks out way more than we can handle. So it's in here, the chickens get whatever falls to the ground, and we've gotten enough to, you know, start making jam out of it, and we're saving up more to make a pie. So really productive. This is the everbearing variety, which I highly recommend if you don't want a huge tree. The main fact is it will kind of almost continually produce throughout the year. It'll take a break in the winter time and not be very productive at all. But you don't just get one huge harvest like your normal mulberry trees. Here's another banana clump, and got a little rack forming on here. And show you more updates on how we're trying to be more sustainable here out in Central Florida, Zone 9B. From our garden to yours, God bless.